Hey guys, here to do a Dino Rabbit deck list that I built and took it to locals yesterday. Did pretty good, and the way I built my Dino Rabbit deck is different from is different from everybody else's. And I actually did pretty good. I got third place, went 3-1, lost to Geargias. And so yeah, just get with the deck. Double rabbit, of course, and then you got your vanillas, triple Sabosaurus, triple Cabazals, and then you got your tour guide engine with Shangan, Night Assailant. And this is where it gets different because instead of running my triple Guaiba, I'm running triple Flamvell Fire Dog. The reason why I'm running Flamvell Fire Dog is because it's almost exactly the same thing that Guaiba does, but except that's 1900, and you can it's what is the word? It gives you more options. You can the monster that you special summon with this card, you can attack with it, and you can also overlay with it and synchro with it too. Cause I run Flame of Magician and Challenge the Prophet. This is the tuner, and this is just a good 200 defense monster that has a good effect. But basically, this card does exactly the same thing that Guaiba does, except that you can't make Dolka and Lagia with this. But honestly, you have enough ways to make it already with your rabbit. And this deck has problems dealing with first turn Thunder King. Because if you run Guaiba, you draw the Guaiba and you won't be able to do anything because Guaiba's 1900 unless you have a Lance. But this card, you can crash into it with Thunder King, they both die. And then you'll be able to search out this guy, attack with him, and then next turn summon your Dino Rabbit because this guy pretty much stops the back row, one back row. So you +1 off Thunder King first turn by attacking it to this. And this card's really good with this deck just too because you have Lance, and Lance, this card has 200 extra attack points, so this card can kill more things with Lance than the Guava can. Just my thoughts on this card. So, then when your two targets, I find 3 targets to be too much because most of the time you're never gonna draw into all your fire dogs. But the problem I've been finding with this deck is that you're drawing into your targets more than you're drawing into fire dogs, which is really weird to me. Or whenever I want to attack with fire dog, I always end up drawing my target that I'm going to search it to. So it's oh. But yeah, this card is actually pretty good because it helps you get out Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon just helps you blow up stuff and go for game. This card, let you guys focus on this. Okay. Yeah, basically, you can pause it to read it, but basically, it stops one back row for one turn if you call it right. Most of the time you call it traps, and if it's traps, then you could just go off that turn. This card helps you bait out warnings and bottomlesses. One Thunder King, I find one Thunder King to be more consistent in this deck because I want to keep my deck 40 cards, so I'm trying to find room for it, but for a second one, but I just find it to be more consistent because this card just helps you get out your first turn plays, or it's good late game. So, and you side another one in case you need it. So yeah, Gores stop the OTK plays. This deck is not trap heavy. I made it so it's not trap heavy, so you can get off the Gores pretty easily. And Gores just helps you gain so much advantage. So that's why I love Gores. Double Veiler stops their plays because Veiler is so good because it helps you get out your level 5 tuners, synchros, and it helps you stop your opponent's big plays because your opponent gets off their big plays and gets out big monsters. This deck has problems with it because this deck cannot deal with big monsters. The biggest thing they can go to is Gemini Pearl, but I don't even run Gemini Pearl in this deck because I'm running a synchro version. There's just not enough room for it. So like the biggest thing that you can make with your rescue rabbit is Utopia in this deck, which really doesn't help you. So you need to stop those big plays, get out your Doka and Lagias, and stop their plays, and hopefully just go for game. Because this deck has problems getting around big monsters. That's why like you lose to Gyugyo. Because once they get off their synchro plays, you really can't do anything. Alright, and that's it for the monsters. And time for spells. Staples, Darko, Reborn, Heavy, and then we have the book. I like book in this set because Flamvell Fire Dogs is really good with it. Pop Avarice because it helps you cycle through your vanillas. Really good. And you run the double duality. I like the double duality because it helps you search out to your deck and save your life if you draw it too. So, Dino Rabbits have become slower. And like a lot of times you're not like you just need to know when to play your dualities because you want to go off. If you can go off with rabbit, don't play your duality, but just go off the rabbit. But if like you already have a whole bunch of back row, you're just doing a duality, then like search out rabbit. It's pretty good. Set up your next play. The one lance because Flamvell Fire Dog's already good, big enough, like pretty big. But this is for like this card is really offensive against like really big cards with your Flamvell Fire Dog because Flamvell Fire Dog's already 1900, so make something less than 1900 is really good. Like this card, like you can beat anything 27 or higher and get your plus off with Flamvell Fire Dog, or you could just save this saves your own monsters too, so it's really good. Space Typhoon. It's really good in this format, really trap heavy, side another one. I just don't find 3 to be consistent enough. So, and on to the traps. You run the Solemn Brigade, of course. Solemn Brigade is really good. Bomb Shrapple, really good 1-for-1 card. I love it. It's one of the best. And also, if you face the mirror match, this card is really good as well. So, and this card is like pretty like it's just really good overall. This helps you sit on your Lagias longer and stuff. Dimensional Prison, I love this card so much, and like if you draw your rabbit, your Gores, and your Dimensional Prison, it's pretty much auto win because even if they effect fail your rabbit, you can always just set this, protect it, and go off next turn. Or if they're able to destroy your rabbit and your prison, then you always have your Gores. And if you get your rabbit play off, and they somehow end up getting around your Lagia, you always have that they get around the Dimensional Prison. You always have the Gores in your hand, and usually like that just sets you up for a really big advantage play. And then Mirror Force, really good. I just don't find 2 to be good enough. I like the Prison better because their moves are really good against Dark Worlds. Mirror Force because like it just stops really big plays. Torrential, field advantage because you're really not gonna be having much field presence, so just like punish people with it. But like 2 is a little too much, gives you dead draws, and you don't want to be trap heavy because you Gores. Pulse, really good this format, just super good. Stop those XYZs and synchros, and you can always just like bounce back your rabbit or something if something happens to it. That's it for the main deck. Time to go for the extra deck. Really choosy, like it's really tight. This extra deck is really tight, so I like have trouble picking it. We have 2 Lagia, of course for Dino Rabbit. Only 1 Doka because I don't find myself going to Doka enough to make 2 of them, and 2 of them just takes up too much space in the extra deck. Because Doka's good, but I just don't find 2 to be good enough to play. I won't be putting another one there unless I find a reason to put the second one in there. Because I've never had to go into Doka more than once. Like I usually never even have to go to him at all. So Utopia, and because like since you're not running the Guaibas, you're only running the Flamvell Fire Dogs, helps you get like other rank 4s XYZs are better to run. So yeah, Utopia of course, Maestroke, Photon, Butterfly Assassin, and that's it for rank 4s. Then you got your Zen mains, your Leviair, super good. Tempo, Acid Golem. I know, like, Acid Golem could actually save your life. It's not as bad as people say it is, cause like if you like your opponent's sitting on a Scrap Dragon or something and you can't get around it, like a Miracle Draw, Tour Guide, went to Acid Golem, boom, won freaking with the Acid Golem. So it's actually pretty good. And Leviathan Dragon. That's it for XEs. One Catastor because your effect failures and your vanillas. You can always just Monster Reborn your opponent's effect failure to save your life. God, because you can always like you have the two magician and the Flamvell magician in there. If for some reason you have a dead rabbit sitting out there, you have no more targets in your deck. Just summon the Flamvell magician, get this guy out, helps you. And your 2 level 8 Scrap and Stardust. I actually like the Scrap Dragon more because like Scrap Dragon, like I won a game because of him. Like I used his effect pop, like he had I think he had like Christia out. So or no, not Christia. He had Earth out, mystery Earth, yeah, Agent Earth. And he had Trag in hand, and he was at 2100 life points. I had a Kabazals and Flamvell Magician on board. I could have just attacked with it, but I was like, just go for game. Cause I think he had one back row, but I was like, what if he has Trag? So I decided to go Scrap Dragon, pop my own Prohibition and his Earth and attack for game, and I won. So it's pretty good. And then we got my Gorse token. And then really, I think the side deck is like the side deck's really important, but I don't really think I got a good side deck. Pretty much, like I'm gonna show it, but I don't really think you need like. I'm not really explaining too much. Like Prohibition, I just define Prohibition to be like one of the best side deck cards in the game right now. Like this card stops every single deck. You can call anything in any single deck to Prohibition. Like it stops them. And Dimensional Fissures, you need Dimensional Fissures. I like Dimensional Fissure better than Macrocosmos because it still sends your materials to the graveyard. So yeah, pretty much like what you need. Then anything else you pretty much can just, it's player preference. Oh yeah, you need the maxis as well. So yeah guys, thanks for watching and bye.